Today we're going to read Possum Come A-Knockin' by Nancy Van Lan, illustrated by George Booth. And we would like to say a special thank you for Alfred A. Knopf, New York, for allowing us to share this story today. Possum come a-knockin'. Possum come a-knockin' at the door, at the door. Possum come a-knockin' at the door. Granny was a-sittin' and a-rockin' and a-knittin' when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. Ma was busy cookin' in the kitchen makin' taters when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. Pa was busy fixin' and a-bangin' and a-poundin' when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. Pappy was a-whittlin' makin' toys for the baby when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. Sis was tossin' baby while Pappy was a-whittlin' when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. Brother was untanglin' all the twiny line for fishin' while Sis was tossin' baby and Pappy was a-whittlin'. And Pa was busy fixin' and Ma was busy cookin' and Granny was a-knittin' when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. Coondog was a-twitchin' and a-scratchin' in the corner when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. Tomcat started sniffin' and a-spittin' and a-hissin' when a possum came a-knockin' at the door. "What's that?" Sis said. "Don't know," Brother said. "What's that?" Pa said. "Don't know," Granny said. "But that cat oughter go." Then Dog started snifflin' and a-pawin' and a-growlin' while the cat, tail a-twitchin', was a-hissin' and a-howlin', making Granny stop a-knittin' and Pappy stop a-whittlin' and Baby start a-fussin', Sis and Brother start a-cussin' 'cause a little old possum was knockin' on the door. "What's that?" Granny said. "Don't know," Pappy said. "What's that?" Mama said. "Don't know," Pa said. Then I creeped across the floor and peeked under the door. "It's a possum come a-knockin' on the door," I said. "It's a possum come a-knockin' on my door." Then Brother came a-leapin' and Sis came a-runnin' and Baby came a-crawlin' and Dog started howlin' and Pappy was a-chucklin' and Granny's eyes were twinklin' and Ma followed Pa to the door. "Now hush," said Pa. "Now hush," said Ma, and slowly Pa opened up the door. "Now y'all stop your hollerin', your fussin' and your cussin', 'cause there's nothin' a-knockin' at the door." See, the possum's hiding. "No possum," Pappy said. "No possum," Pa said. "No possum," Granny said. "No possum," Ma said. Then they all started doing like before. Granny was a-sittin' while Pa was a-whittlin', Ma was a-cookin', Pa was a-fixin'. Brother was untanglin' while Sis was tossin' Baby, Coondog was a-scratchin' while Tomcat was a-lickin', and I was just a-sittin' and a-lookin' out the winder when I saw what I saw scoot up the old oak tree. A possum was a-scootin' and a-scramblin' and a-danglin'. That possum that was knockin' made a fool out of me.